All right, welcome everyone to Money Matters. We are on our episode 19 today. I'm super excited. We have a really nice panel today. So it's not just one guest speaker, we have two guest speakers who will be coming and talking to us about paying off their loans in a fraction of a time. I think last week when we were having our session with Kale and Pierre from Precious 30 Days, we did speak a lot more on loans and the struggles they faced and how they kept going back to the same cycles of having to pay for something and getting into financial trouble and how they overcame it. So today we are featuring two speakers who at a very young age are making sure that they step out of the cycle and how they manage to do it and what are the steps as a youngster we can take to ensure we do not go into that trap, and if we are already having loans and all of that, how to come out of it as soon as possible. So that is what we're going to be discussing today. So if you're somebody new here, hello guys, welcome to Money Matters. This is a show where we talk about different topics related to personal finance as well as business finance, entrepreneurship, and so much more. And we do have various topics that we discuss. Sometimes it's a bit more technical, like budgeting and all those kind of stuff, but sometimes, if not most times, we do have guest speakers with very amazing and inspiring experiences to come and share with us how they have done it in their own lives. If all of us actually took the effort to learn from the mistakes of the people we are surrounded with, I think we will do things much better, especially when it comes to money. And which is why we actually feature a range of speakers. Doesn't matter what is their background, we feature them so that we can learn from their experiences, and there is always something small that we can take away and apply in our lives, and that is what we aim to do here. So thank you so much for joining. If you guys are already at the comments, let me know how is your EMCO, MCO, CMCO, whatever is going on in your area. Let me know how is it going. Are you feeling stressed, or are you feeling nothing numb, or are you feeling excited? Let me know in the comments. I can already see some of our loyal fans already cheering for today's session. I'm super excited. So we have two guest speakers today, like I mentioned earlier. Our guest speakers, the first guest speaker is none other than Ramya. She is the CEO of ET Boost. I met Ramya, I think almost 6 years ago, if not 7 years ago, and it was at that time I had no idea what she did and all of that, but I did know that she was one of those first few people who kind of like exposed me to the idea of you can pay off your loans very fast if you put your mind to it, and there are other ways to pay off your loans that does not include taking out your own money and putting towards it. So what did Ramya share with me over the years? That is what we're going to be discussing in our session today. So we have Ramya, and accompanying her, we have Vishnu Priya, who has already been featured on Money Matters before. If I recall back, she was our first guest speaker on the topic of savings, and now she is back again to talk about how she is taking the efforts and steps to ensure she pays off her loans. So if those of you are watching, let me know in the comments if you are somebody who already has loans. Are you struggling to pay them off? Do you not have any loans? What is your policy with regards to loans? Let me know. I would love to see what you guys have to say. All right, so without further ado, let me welcome on stage Ramya and Vishnu. Hi guys.
Hi, Madhura.
How are you guys feeling today?
Good. Excited.
Okay. So before we go into our topic and talk very technically on loans, no, there's no such thing as technical here. But before we jump into the topic, I always ask my guest speakers some tough life questions.
Oh
If you
no.
guys don't know already,
We were
so
not
I'm
planned
gonna.
for this.
So my first question is this: what is your biggest money mistake? All right, what is your biggest money mistake that you have made in your whole life that you remember and you have learned from? Who
My
wants to go
God, that is
first?
a tough question. I really
Yeah,
think.
Okay, Vishnu, why don't you go first?
I'm still thinking too.
So one of the things I do like to do is throw this question without telling my speakers about it. That is why they're so shocked,
Okay,
guys. Don't get bothered. I don't like to prompt people on this question because I feel like
okay.
only then the real answer will come out.
I
So
think on my side is you save up, and when you lend the money to someone, and how to say, you didn't really tell the person that you are expecting something. That means sometimes you are totally fine when you already lend your that money. Okay, you don't give back, so I'm fine. You give back, so I'm fine. But when you have that expectation, that's one of my biggest mistake. When I lend and I was like, "Are you going to give it to me back?" So those kind of things. Yeah.
Lending.
Okay.
Okay, that is a very nice one. Probably we can actually talk about it a little bit today as well.
Oh.
Vishnu, how about you? What is
Okay.
the biggest mistake you have made?
Okay, I think one thing that comes to my mind is since I have the habit pattern of savings, when the earlier days I saved the money, I, I just saved the money. I don't know what to do with the money. So
Okay.
there was once that I saved it, but I didn't know where to actually put this money, how to keep it properly and things like that. And there was about few hundred ringgit that I saved but just went missing like that. So until now, I don't know where it went missing. So it was kind of heartbreaking. But then it's like I think it's because that I didn't have a goal on what I want to save for. So I was just
Yeah.
saving, keeping just simply somewhere in the drawer or something like that. And one
Yeah.
day it went missing. So it's like have a proper plan maybe.
Very nice, very nice. Guys, if you're like me and you save keychains and postcards and all of that, money is not like that. Don't save it like that. Find the proper way to save your money. Very nice. Okay. Second question before we go into our topic today. What is your most important principle in money? One rule or one principle that you hold close to your heart that no matter what happens, you'll follow.
I think I can go first.
Go ahead.
I think I shared this in the earlier money matters as well.
I
I think yes. I think for me is that what's it called? Because this thought was so strong after I came into ETIDS lah. Because
okay.
there's people who constantly telling that nature will give you what you need.
Hmm.
So, and I would say at the beginning, nature actually give me more than what I need. So I always remind myself that whatever extra it gave me, it's for some other purpose, which I
Okay.
don't know now. So I only take what I need in order for me to survive in a monthly basis for my normal expenses and all. If I want to
Yep.
travel and all, but the extra, just keep it as I might need to use it for something else, which I don't know yet.
Okay, okay. I mean, what most people tend to do is that you keep it, but then you will see something fancy on Lazada sale, because and Shopee will send the notification on your phone,
Yes.
annoying notification, and you will go and click on it and buy something. So don't do that. Just have some goals to put it towards and all of that. Okay, very nice. Ramya, how about you?
Okay, I wouldn't say it's a principle that it's like I must follow kind of thing. It's still I would say it's a very learning process, but it's
Yep.
something that my mentors in ETIDs have always mentioned something like the money should always be rotating. So it's like you have the money, then you buy something, or you pay someone, or you invest in a person or a business, this kind of things. It's like it's constantly going somewhere. So it's like it should not just stay with you just because your savings is growing. Okay, that's it. It's like
Yeah.
where are you channeling your money, and where is it really going, and how much people is being impacted. So it should always be rotate. Why I say that is because someone really helped me grow to where I am today. It could be their time, it could be a lot of it, I would say, is also money. If you don't, you can't
Yep.
ignore that part. So as much as that what I have to do today is do the same thing that what someone has done to me.
Okay, very nice. I think a lot of us tend to talk about accumulating and keeping it for ourselves, but that is not it. There's a lot more to life, and if you share it and actually send it out, there will be other things that come to you that you don't even realize, right? Very nice. Okay, so if you guys are tuning in, I asked the question earlier to our audiences, like, have you guys taken a loan before? Do you have a loan? If you have a loan, what kind of loan is it? Just if you don't mind sharing, please do put it in the comments so that we kind of have a gist of who is watching today's session. Already see a person commented that he had a PTPTN loan, but without realizing the consequences of it and how long he needs to pay for it. This is exactly my scenario. I was very excited to get my first car, but I did not even bother to ask what car was it until the car was already there. And then I found out how much was the loan, and then I found out how much I have to pay monthly, and I nearly fainted when I found out. So a lot of us youngsters are so blur. We get into these kind of situations, and that is what we are trying to address through Money Matter sessions. I feel Every episode is for us to become slightly aware of the different areas of money, so that we don't make mistakes that earlier generations have already made, or people our age have already made. We learn from them and avoid it. So if you guys want to continue learning from Money Matters and always learn something new and upgrade your knowledge and learn from other people's experiences, subscribe to our weekly reminders. We have a new episode every Sunday, and it's very, very exciting. You can subscribe and you will get a personalized reminder on your WhatsApp and email about what is coming up. Okay, so let's jump into today's topic. I paid off my loan in a fraction of of the time. What? I cannot comprehend that question. I mean that statement, although I wrote it. So I'm going to ask you guys the first question, right? Paying off loans. Yes, we can come into it, but what were the kind of loans that you guys had that you needed to like pay off or anything like that?
Okay. Which you want to go first? Okay.
Ramya can go
Oh,
first.
okay. Okay. On my side, I think to be honest, I never had loan until I decided to further my studies in degree. And long story short, is like I was offered a scholarship. I didn't like the course, so I turned it
Yeah.
down. And that's when I realized that okay, I need to take a PDPDN loan because that's what everyone does, right? So took the PDPDN loan and of course was freaking out about it. But what actually happened from there, it's like, when you sign the papers and everything like that, it's like it's worth literally 48,000. So
Yeah.
that's my story on taking a loan. And but I guess lots of things happen along the way. And I know how to say, things managed to be in a good way, in the sense that this whole story of PTPTN with the goal in mind, from what I learned from my mentors and so on. So I managed to actually set a goal to actually have like convert the loan into a scholarship. No, I never heard about this before. I think something that even Madhura and Vishnu was telling in the pre-interview as well. It's like it's not many people know about this. That is very true. I didn't know about this at all until I went for degree and I heard my coordinator saying this. If you have like 3.8 CGPA and above, you can actually convert your PTPTN loan into a scholarship.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I only remember that one. So that was the process. After the whole process of I think goal settings and focusing the thoughts and so on, eventually managed to convert the loan into a scholarship. So this was my loan. Yeah, that's the first loan that I had, lah.
Okay, okay. I already see a few of our audiences are also letting us know what kind of loans they got into. One of them shared about how they got a personal loan, which they totally regret. So one of the clients that I personally work with on showing them how to manage their personal finances and all of that, she actually also took up a personal loan, basically because the family was in need and there was nobody else who could go and take it, and she had to step in and take the personal loan up. And now she has to pay that loan, PTPTN loan, car loan, and all kinds of loans. And another person also shared how they bought a car in January and now they are leaving the country and they have to sell off the car as well. So a lot of us have gotten into loans due to a lot of problems, and we are stuck with it. And today we're going to talk about how to come out of it as fast as we can. So, Vishnu, very quickly, what were the kind of loans that you had in your whole lifetime? What are the kinds of loans you have gotten yourself into?
Okay, I think for me it's also again PTPTN loan. That was my first one,
Maybe
and
you can give a
uh,
bit of an explanation for, because one of our audiences asked, what is a PTPTN?
okay,
Oh,
okay, okay. A PTPTN loan is basically, to continue your higher education, which is provided by the government. So people usually tell the interest is lower, and also anybody can apply for it. So if you want to continue your higher education, so personally for me, I didn't want to end up in a public U. I didn't want to continue my SCPM, so I went into college. So
Yeah.
for that, I needed PTPTN loan since my family cannot fund it. So that was my first ever loan. And
Okay.
then after that, there was some other educational loan that my parents took for me as well, because we need to pay the first semester fee first.
Yeah.
So she took that. My mom took it, and then I think along the way, another one was actually it was not the loan. It is a course that I wanted to join. So I basically paid it in installment lah. So in a way, I still need to settle it off. So these were
Yep.
first two loans that I actually have.
Like a
Yeah,
soft loan.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I borrow from other people. Okay. So now that all of the conclusion is most of us have loans, we are stuck with it, and we need to pay it off. But one of the beliefs that I feel like I kind of like a lot of people actually disagree with is paying it off as soon as possible. Because even me, when I knew I had, I now I have a loan and I was paying it. The last thing on my mind was paying it off as soon as possible. I was like, oh, 5 years, we pay lah for 5 years, and until the last day, they'll give you a schedule by when you'll finish the loan. I'm like, I'll pay this until 2021 or 2022. That's pretty much was my timeline. So when I saw that, and that's you just accept that is how it's going to be, and you move on with your life, and you just pay your monthly installments. So why did the both of you make that decision to not stick to that, like actually move and change your mind that you must take an effort to pay off your loans as soon as possible? Why did you have that mindset change,
Mm,
Ramya?
okay.
Okay.
Am I
Uh,
confusing the both of you? Like,
so no, no, I'm literally waiting for the cues. Like,
Yes.
maybe Vishnu is gonna take this question. Okay. I think it's because of maybe it's just because of upbringing and family, because my family have taken loan, have been in debt and so on. So I think watching them having loan is a very scary thing for me. And another thing is because when I did my diploma, I actually got a scholarship for my diploma. So it's like suddenly having a loan for my degree, it's like it's so uncomfortable, I've never had that for so many years, and suddenly I'm having a loan. And I've seen the struggles that my family have gone through because of a loan and debt
yeah,
and so on. So that was like really, really agitating. So because of that itself, I think it encourages to settle it as fast as possible, because you don't want what happened to your family to happen to you. So that's just my experience lah.
okay, okay, makes sense. Vishnu?
I think for me, it's also something similar like that because
Yeah,
seeing my family background, it's like one of the scariest thing is that to settle one loan, they will take another loan. So like
yeah,
one of the thing they did was to actually, they bought a car, so there was a car loan. To settle that car loan faster, they think the best thing to do is to get another loan, which is, a lower interest. But
yeah,
even though it's a lower interest, right? But I think it's like you need to pay it for so many years, so it's like it doesn't matter how much is the interest, but the
yep,
interest is there. So
yep,
because of that, the cycle is like just keep continuing it. Even though they finish one, you will see the next one will come up within days or within months.
yep,
So I didn't want to end up in that particular cycle. That's why I was like, even taking PTPTN loan, I didn't want to take it, but
yeah,
I was like, but at the same time, I don't want to go into SCPM. So for me, I was like, so the best option is to go for actually PTPTN. So I just went into that. So
yep.
it's like I didn't want to end up like what was my family like, lah, the struggle they went through. Yeah.
I can see that both of you learned from experiences of others as well, where you saw your family go through it, and therefore you don't want that same scenario to happen. One of the things I noticed that there's technically nothing wrong with loans. It is a tool for us to help us get certain things. Like there's no, if you have to pay in cash for your car, you will probably never buy certain cars that you want. That is the truth, especially if you're like just starting out, probably it's not going to happen. And just like what Vishnu said, if you want to go for that education that you want and you know you're passionate about it, and if your parents can't afford it and all of that, and you can't get a scholarship, then you will stop yourself from achieving the goal if you think this tool is so bad, I don't want to get a loan at all. So it is a tool that can help us achieve our goals, but help managing it much better would help. And I think both of you are like examples on how well you can manage it if you choose to. So now that we kind of have settled like why we should be paying off our loans, the next question that I think I would naturally ask is, how in the world did you make it happen? Because I was dying. Monthly installment itself, I was like, oh, you this one is why I cannot pay. How long is this? So how did you guys manage to pay off your loans in a fraction, like half the time or even lesser than that? How did you manage to do it, Ramya? I, I,
You knew, right? You knew what I was thinking.
I was like, I must tell Ramya.
Okay. I was mentioning just now about the PTPTN converting the loan into a scholarship. That is totally I would say that's totally a guidance from my mentors from ET Ideas on setting a goal and really focusing and achieving it. So that is one. But along the way, the tips that, example, Joyce, she's a close friend of mine, and she's also my company accountant, and she really looks into my finances very well. And what Joyce mentioned during my how to say student days and having a PTPTN loan is put this money in FT. This is something that my mentor Ilango enjoys. Say, put this money in FT. This is not your money. Then I was like a bit shocked, because it's like you're getting the money like every semesters, right? And
Yeah,
and they say don't touch the money because this is not your money. I was like, oh
yeah,
my god, that's so sad. So but I had to go with the allowance that I had. So I did not touch the money, and everything was in FT until it was converted into a scholarship. Only then that official thing about, okay, this is your money, what you're going to do about it was there. So that tip about taking a loan, the reminder is actually not your money.
yep,
I think that was one reminder on how I actually focused on settling the loan, because that is a constant reminder from them. But
yep.
talking about the second loan that I took is basically on the car loan. So I
Yep.
think it's like a dream for a lot of youngsters who have graduated, to have a car.
Yes.
I got a car much later in my life, in the sense that I was using actually a friend of mine, her car, and it was an old car. And when they told me that okay, it's time you change your car and you get a car, and I literally told my mentors, no, I'll drive the old car, it's totally fine. And why you want me to change the car? There's a loan, and things like that. So for me, it's like that's the period where diploma scholarship, degree loan turn into scholarship, and then now you're offering me a loan. So
Yeah.
it's like so uncomfortable. And I convinced them that no, the old car is fine only. So, but they did not, believe me, and they were like, it's really old. The friend who owns the car was telling me it's really old. Please change your car. So I was like, okay, fine, okay, change the car. And how they attracted me with that is they got my favorite color, red color, for my car. So that's so lah. So, but when the loan started and so on, I think it's very scary, because the loan is very big. It's not like a how to say, it's not an education loan. It's a car loan.
Yep.
It's big. So when that happened, it's like no matter how much I'm paying every month, the money is like, oh, apa ni? Is it really reducing, or it's just an imagination of what
Yeah.
I'm paying? It's like that. But one thing that my mentors kept on saying is like what is it called? The founder of ETIDs Lango, he mentioned something like he points out every month how much I'm paying and how much it's reducing. That means he really make it visual for me, because I cannot sometimes see that I'm contributing to it being reduced. So when he keep doing that, it encourages me that, oh, okay, it is important for me to settle this loan. It is going to come to an end, this kind of
Yep.
thing. So
Yep.
that was very encouraging. And how to say, the other part is like whenever business was not growing yet, because I was still like a student going into business and see things like that.
Yep.
And when business started growing, eventually it's like I increased the amount that I was paying for a particular month. That means if I have extra for the month, my expenses for the month is covered. This is an extra. So
Yeah.
I channel this into the loan instead of using that money for totally something else that I may not need for that month lah.
Yep.
So that way it kept on reducing much faster, and eventually I managed to settle it.
Okay. Okay. So one of the things that personally I learned from Ramya as well is this, like in terms of like paying off our loans, if you think you with your usual salary you're gonna pay off your loans, no. Probably because you will always be in around that level, which will, and you'll have other expenses that will come out every time you get a raise. And that is how naturally it happens. And it's hard to fight that belief that that as your salary increase, your lifestyle must increase. It's very hard to fight it. So I personally learned from Ramya that when you get that additional income, from a new project that you started or a new class that you run, and suddenly there's a big chunk of
Yeah.
income that was not in the plans at all. You take that and use that to pay off the loans, because then your mind is not already planning, okay, this one goes for food 600 ringgit. No, there's no plans. The mind will be like, money. and then when you pay it, you're reducing your loan significantly. So I think you did that very well, and that is one of the reasons you paid off. How fast did you pay off your loan, Ramya?
If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 years,
2 years,
plus
from a
minus.
5 year loan to 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing, my lord. Okay, I did not come anywhere near. Mine was, I think, 5 year loan. I took 4 years, but that is because I realized very late. So Ramya was my inspiration to kind of like step up my game.
But that's also an encouragement from your environment. Why I say that is because your environment is keep emphasizing on how much you need to grow beyond. That means it's like your career. You have a
Yep,
job, you have a career, right? But what
yep.
else can you do? So that ideas of this one, that's how income started coming more. So
That is true.
then settling the loan, and that came later.
Very nice, very nice. So it's like don't actually having this loan improved you as a person, because you had
Yes.
come up with creative ideas to come up with a new side income and all of that, that eventually helped you to pay it off, and you,
Yep.
because of that, you grew into a next level kind of thing. So it's not always a bad news, guys. There's a lot of good that can come out of it if you look at it and take the right actions. You will come out of it in a way. I'm just going to quickly take one of the audience questions, which is, not all loans paid faster can be beneficial. An investment property with rental covering the repayment is better off investing the extra cash you have into, like, in putting it into investment rather than paying off loans. This is a belief that a lot of people do have, and yes, if you look at the numbers, yes, you can say that, in terms of like, oh, if I put this here, I can get 10% return, but if I pay my loan, it is, the interest is only this much. You can calculate, and we can decide on in that terms. And there are people who do that. I am personally somebody who, after experiencing the settlement of a loan, have become addicted to it, in the sense that I'm like, it is so liberating to not have a loan to pay. I think both of you will agree. When you don't have
Yes.
one
Yeah.
particular loan, it's just so, you have the freedom to be whoever you want. And I would also like to point out one thing, like a lot of people, like somebody mentioned just now, right? In January, they bought a car, and now they're moving out of the country. So it's like many of us make plans with the loans, with what is happening now.
Mm.
We forget we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. And if you are planning in that sense, like if COVID-19 comes and your tenant needs to leave your house, and they can't, because they can't pay rental, and nobody else can afford the rental, so then nobody's coming. Or if you have a car and you never drive the car, there's all kinds of scenarios that can come up. So or you lose your job and you can't make the monthly payments, so anything can come up. So if you're worried about these kind of things, and I think COVID has proved it can happen to anyone and everyone. So if this is something that will affect you, then maybe it's just good to just settle it, so that if things go wrong, you are fine. You won't die because you have 10,000 loans to pay. That is a
Yeah.
personal opinion that I thought I would like to point out. A different way to look at it. There's nothing, no right, no wrong ways. So Vishnu,
Yeah.
Vishnu's story is even more epic. And everyone more epic. Because Vishnu started with three loans. Amya, one loan she converted to scholarship, and then the other one she paid off in 2 years, guys. 2 years is ridiculous. Okay. And then there's Vishnu, who started with three loans. How?
Yeah.
How did you do it? How are you
I,
doing?
I think I do regret that, even before I think right after finishing my college, I have three loans to pay. I think my mom was so against me taking PTPTN because she was telling that you haven't even start working, you already have a loan. So
Yep.
it's like I don't want to end up like, you seeing you like me and all those things. So
Yep.
because of that, I was it's like the thing is in me that I need to settle it as fast as possible. So I have no idea about how long you need to repay the PTPTN loan and all those things. So it's like you simply went and took a loan like that. So just because I want to study, I didn't do a research properly.
Yep.
But then after, I think while I was in college itself, I like teaching. So I used to teach this three students, not many, just three home tuition. So because that time I don't really need that much of money, but it was just an offer that came through my childhood teacher who told I don't have enough slots, can you take it or not? So I was like, okay, why not? I'm just free, so I'll take it. But since I don't see the need to use the money, I was just saving it up. And even in PTPTN, you will also get allowance. So the allowance also, I was saving it up. Then eventually, I think the third loan actually came in while I was in my degree, because at that point of time, I really needed to join this particular program called BNFS. So I know it will change my life, and I believed in it. So I was like, no matter what, I'm joining this. So I didn't know why I saved it earlier, but eventually it was to pay for this thing. So
Yep.
I paid and then I joined. And I was very happy. I couldn't settle it in one go, but uh, Valsa was basically very kind to give me installments, so you can pay
Yeah.
monthly whatever you can afford to. So
Yep.
just because she told whatever you can afford to, it doesn't mean you pay 50 ringgit per month. So for me, it's like I started off with 100, but even that one I will be thinking like 100 ringgit. When am I going to finish this payment? So it's
Yep.
like I felt so guilty lah. So it's like you're owing somebody so much of money and all. But I think one thing Vasla told me is that just focus on doing what you like doing. The money will come.
Yep.
So as I after college, since I like teaching, I went all out to do teaching and all those things. It didn't start out with 10, 20 students. It was just few students. But I always I use only what I need and then I saved up. And eventually I settle off the BRFS payment. So when settling it off, I was very happy because I managed to pay it off the whole amount. And the next thing was actually the educational loan that my mom took.
Yeah.
So she was actually paying for it, but then I felt that it was for my studies, so I need to pay for it since she
Yep.
already has many other loans that she was paying. So she was already, I think, paying for about 2 years already. It was not a bank loan; it is a loan that she took from some kind of society or something like that lah.
Yep.
So she told me that it's very low interest, so it's fine and all. She took the loan. She was paying for 2 years plus. Then I told her that I'll take away now since I've settled one, I can pay for this. I'll take it over. Then I was paying for it. She was paying I think 200, so I pay a bit extra 250. So I was paying for 1 year, and I thought, okay, it would have reduced, so I can just use my saving to pay it off.
Yeah.
Then I called the particular person in charge and asked, so how much is the loan? And then when my mom took it, she took 9K, and they told me, oh, still got 9K something. I'm like, I'm like, so do you mean that it didn't reduce at all? So how did this thing works? So at that time I didn't even know how a loan works, because I've never paid off interest,
Yeah.
a loan with interest. So
Yeah.
I'm like, but we have been paying for 3 years. What? Supposedly it should reduce. I thought it would be 5K. Now you're telling me 9K. So it was very scary. Then I think that's where, being in ETIDS, I think it was from Ramya or Joyce that I got to know that if you can settle the loan, faster, meaning pay a bit higher, the interest will reduce. So what I did is, since I already save up this money, so I walk into the office and then I ask, I would like to settle the loan one shot. So I was telling this to Valsa. My end goal is, they tell 5K means I will settle. So anything below 5K means I will settle. So I went there and then I asked, how much do I need to pay? Then they told from 9K, they reduced to, you pay 4,950
Wow.
settlement. So I was like, yes, it was so close. So I was like, yes. So I am paying now. So I just paid off that money. So I think that relief of paying it off, because I
Yep.
know that if I just pay 250 per month, I need to pay for another few more years.
Yep.
So when I paid off that thing, it was so relief, because my goal was to to finish the other loans before I start paying my PTPTN, because my PTPTN is due to payment 2 years from the year I graduate.
Yep.
So as per the goal, I settled the two loans lah. So it's the happiness that you get after you settle the loan.
I like one of the things you pointed out is, especially if you're not getting those, like PTPTN is known for its low interest. So it's not so painful for you. But even then, I recently read a news where this guy had like 1 cent in the account, and when the interest accumulated, he suddenly had 500 or 5,000 in due to be paid. So don't underestimate these kind of small
Yeah.
details in terms of loans. And settlement is also one very true thing. I think one of the reasons both of you managed to pay off your loans is because when you went and asked, like, if I want to settle now, how much is it?
Yep.
And when you settle one shot, they will kind of like give you a really good discount for you to be able to pay off. The earlier you do it, the more the discount. Like if you wait like me until the last year, then the discount is very minimal lah. And but regardless, even that minimal one feels damn good to be able to pay it off. I like what Allah said about very strong end goal. Yes, Allah, very strong. I am personally someone who works with Vishnu a lot. I cannot understand Vishnu's end goal power because she is so focused on her goals of especially settling these loans that she just somehow finds new ways to earn income. Like she was like, you will do classes and then you keep launching new projects and new programs and all of that, that you were able to increase your income very fast, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
like, just to give a context, when you started off and now, how much in terms of percentage, or like times 10 times 5, like how much has it increased
Okay.
your income?
I think from the day I started till now, I think my income has actually increased about 6 to 7 times.
6 to
So
7.
yes,
Wow.
Not
I
6%,
think
not 60%, no, 6 to 7. That's 700%.
I think I think the reason was actually because I was in ETIDS. Because
Yep.
if not, I will just settle it for, just teach ACCA class is enough, or just do some teaching enough. But then
Yep.
being in ETIDS, you will never stop doing something new. So it's
Yep.
like there's always things coming up, and we know why we need to do that is because you always need to be creative and look, if not you'll get boring. That's what Valsa will always tell me. So it's like when the times where I can't do certain things, so I know that I've already got bored with that, so I need to do something else, so that the something else will be more exciting, and eventually the other things will go okay. So I think that is the part. I think without ETRS I wouldn't have thought about increasing my income, and I also didn't do that consciously that I need to increase 7 times. So that it was not like that.
Meditate every day.
It was not like that. I think one thing that Vasla just keep telling me, my mentor, is that just focus on doing what you love doing, and always give back whenever you have something. It could be in terms of money, it could be in terms of your time, your
Yep.
knowledge, and all. Just give 100% in whatever that you are doing. I think that's what some I think. I started tracking my income when I started getting more and more students. So it was very difficult for me to keep track because so many people are paying different program and all. That's when I put it into a spreadsheet, and that's
Yep.
the first time I realized I'm actually getting that much. So until then I didn't realize that I'm getting that much. So that's where it's like, when even Valsa when asked me, how did you manage to save up that money, I have no idea how I managed to save up that money, because I didn't really look at that much. I only take monthly, I need this much, I'll take, and then I put it in my personal account. So I didn't really look at I need that much of money and all. But slowly I'm seeing why that money actually came in is because so that I can help others in a way to and also to settle all these loans and all that.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so I think we are coming towards the end of it. So there is, I don't know, I'm so conflicted to ask which question, or I still have two questions. Okay, maybe I'll ask both. You can answer both, but you can keep it short
Okay.
if you want. One
Okay.
is, now that you have paid it off, not Vishnu, not all, but you have paid off two of it, which is a big deal. When you did pay it off, what was that experience like, and how has it helped you to progress on your goals? Because I think a lot of people underestimate the power of paying off your loans.
Mm.
It's a new kind of feeling, and it allows you to do a lot of things. So how did it help you to progress towards your goals? That's one. And two, if there's one thing you'd like to leave with our audiences that they should keep in mind, like all those things that your mentor told you guys, one thing that you need to tell our audiences today, what would it be? Vishnu, you want to go?
Can. I think, okay, the first question was, what was it again? Oh my god, I forgot.
How did the settling help you to progress on the goals?
Okay. I think that part, I think I shared earlier, I was
Yeah.
very happy to actually settle it off because because of the loans that I have, anything that I want to do want to do new, like for example, I really needed a car when I started teaching, but then I was so afraid to buy a car because that's another loan. So I actually told also I don't want a loan. I don't want a car. It's okay. I don't want a car. I don't want to take another loan because it's the fear, that you don't want to do because of the loans that you have. Even you want something badly, or even if you want to do something, I will always think back as, but I have this loan to pay. So it's like, do should I commit to this? I think many people tend to do this. So for me, it's like I don't want to have that thought like that. If I need to go for something, if it really helps into achieving my goal, I want to do it. So I think that is the one that was keeping me motivated to settle the loan as fast as possible. Even the PTPTN, even though I settled the two loans, but when it comes to PTPTN, inside of me, I still have the thing that we pay off slowly lah. Or the PTPTN, they have this period where you can extend a bit. So I was thinking, can I extend a bit or not? So the
Yeah.
thoughts are still there, even though I had that money. But what get me motivated is when I look at went to the office, I asked them how much is the balance, how much I need to pay, by when will I need to settle all these things and all. So they told me that you need to pay about 300 per month for the next 20 years. So I'm like, 20 years, huh?
It's like double our lifetime, man.
I'm like, you really? By the time I will be 40 plus already. I have so much other things that I want to do in my life. I don't want to be paying off this PTPT and loan for 20 years. So I think that's what got me motivated, that it's okay, just pay what I supposed to pay first. So whatever that I was paying for the previous loan, since now I'm not paying for it, I started paying for this one. And
Okay.
slowly I started increasing. And I think from the last year where I started paying somewhere around September until now, when I look at it, it makes me very happy that I actually have settled this much, and I can actually finish up the loan much more faster than the 20 years. And I feel one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that focus on your goals, what you want, and then the end goal needs to be very strong, that whatever that you want to do, this loan thing shouldn't be something that stops you. Because I have been talking to many people about different programs that we do, and they are really interested, but they are also very scared at the same time to commit for this. So it stops you from doing what you actually love doing. So if could you just focus on doing what makes you doing things what makes you happy, the money will actually come, and use it to actually settle off the loans so that it doesn't stop you from doing what you love lah. Yeah, that's
Very nice, very nice. I think that is also what the audience really liked about your sharing, which is staying focused on the end goal. And you shared specifically, like, you don't let it stop you from for just doing what you love.
yeah,
So no matter where you are, just do what you love, guys. It will help you to pay this off.
yeah, yeah,
That is
yeah.
more likely. So Ramya, your final wisdom for our audiences today.
I think the first question, Madhura, you were asking about what I felt. I just
Yeah,
thought of sharing like the once you pay the loan, of course you're very happy and you're very relieved and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like Madhura say, you will not know it until you experience it. So it's like a lot of people who's wondering how it feels like. You have to go through the
yeah,
feeling,
yeah,
and the next few months after I've settled the loan, it's a full of confusion. It's like, this money need to go somewhere, but why is not going to that particular place? So it was a bit of a confusion there. So because it's like like a habit, right?
yeah,
So after that, you have to really figure out where you're going to channel this money. That means you have to utilize either put it for savings, or you have another commitment, or something like that. So that is one experience that I faced once the loan was settled. And I think what I would like to leave the audience with is the fact that what I mentioned earlier, two things. One thing that reminded when Vishnu was talking about the environment and things like that. I think what a lot of us need to understand is, I personally would not have done whatever I did with regards to converting the loan into scholarship or settling the loan in a short period of time. I would not have done it if not for the environment. The reason being is, I would say my habit pattern, my programming is very much based on how my family is, my parents is, and things like that.
Yeah.
So yes, you can take it in a positive note, not to follow that, but a lot of time you got no any other references, you don't know what to follow. So if you have something else to look into and follow, like your mentors who's really guiding you, and you really have to follow through what they're saying, you have the opportunity to change that habit of not going into debt, and not having, or if you take loan, settling it on the spot, as fast as possible, and so on. So and not forgetting what I mentioned earlier, just because you take a loan, it's really not your money, guys. So I think that it really needs to be a big reminder, because if not, you get too comfortable once you get a loan, because it's like you feel like I have a lot of money with me, and it's suddenly you'll feel like it's my money, I have a lot of money. Actually not. So the more you are uncomfortable about it, and you realize it's not your money, you would want to settle it as fast as possible. So that's just my take.
I like one thing that, like you mentioned, it's not really your money. Like a lot of people get like a nice car or a nice house under loan, and they are like, okay, I'm well to do now because I have this house and a car, and I'm in that level already. But what you'd fail to realize is you owe people for those things.
Yeah.
What you're saying as well, and it could be a college student, it could be a person who just got a car, anyone. Even you borrow money from your friend and you had a nice meal, you may feel happy you had a nice meal, but you borrowed the money from somebody to have that
Yes.
nice meal,
Yes.
which means you did not earn that enough to cover that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. I agree, completely helps to kind of keep things in perspective. There's something else you mentioned earlier about paying off your loans. Oh, okay. So one last takeaway I think I would like to point out is this: many of us, when we pay off our loans, we don't make plans on what happens after you pay it off, like what Ramya mentioned earlier. And this is where the cycle goes on, where you will go and find another loan to get into, and then you will pay that loan for another 20 years, which is what happens to a lot of people. They start off with their student loan, then they settle, they're like, I'm free, let me get a car now. And then they pay the car loan for 5 years, and then I'm free, let's get a house, pay that for 30 years. And you just go on, and then you will tell your kids to get the loan. That's what happens to a lot of youngsters our age. Our parents will come and ask us to get the loan. So don't go into that cycle. Take a conscious effort to kind of like see what can you use that money for, doing something you are truly passionate about. It could be helping youngsters to go to the next level. So like I think one of the things that the three of us have done is, when we did pay off that loan, we looked at how we can start channeling this money to building the next generation. And we do that through our work in Ascendance, and by getting kids to figure out what their passion is, how they can achieve their goals and all of that. So you guys can also look at that. Your money is not just for you. You can build so much more with your money. And if you're looking for a place to channel your money and fill the world, Ascendance is actually having a conference in September called the New Age Learner Virtual Conference International Edition, with about 50,000 students coming across from across the world. So if you would like to get some kids to go for it, come and talk to me. You can message me on whichever page you're watching. You just message me, and I will get in touch with you to share with you how you can support the cause of Ascendance, impacting 1 million teens. That is one way you can do much more with whatever money you have.
Yeah.
And I think Stephen is too mind blown with what Ramya said. It's not. I mean, we're gonna say something.
Yeah, sorry, Mother. What you say is actually very true. I think the three of us are very passionate about what Ascendance is doing, and we see how our how to say, the money that we are earning, and we channel back to these youngsters. We are seeing so much of growth with all of them. And a conversation that I actually had with my mentor Elango, when I was talking about this money, and the question I asked is, yes, I want to how to say, invest, and I want to give back to Ascendance. Of course, it's very close to my heart, but how do I know how much, in things like that? And it's very fascinating what he said, because he said that when you're still growing, you're still adjusting with your commitments, your expenses, and so on. So usually it'll be something like an 80% for yourself, to take care of yourself, and 20% can be passed on to the something that's close to your heart. Like for me, ascendance is close to my heart, so I champion, and I want to pass my funds and everything to them. But he said that eventually, as your money increases, your income increases, 80% is a lot, for you. It's like you are 1%, right? 80% is a lot. So he said eventually, when the money increases, the whole percentage will eventually slowly switch to 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, to the whole way around to the 80-20 in the opposite direction. And he said even when that happened, you will have so much of money that you can still sustain, which is a very fascinating thought, because I truly believe that if we keep doing our hard work, if we keep being passionate about what we are doing, we love what we are doing, and so on, the money is eventually going to come, and so on, right? But where is how much money do we really need, and where's the balance money going to go to? So when you mentioned about ascendance, this conversation came to my mind, and I think it's very fascinating on how the mindset changes in terms of money itself lah. So yeah, thank you, Madra, for having me. It's like so much of conversation came in my mind.
Yes. This is probably the longest Money Matters episode I've ever done. Probably because I also cannot keep quiet and had to come and say something. So thank you so much, guys. It was very, very nice to have both of you here and learn from you guys. And I think the audience agree. Whatever you guys shared is very, very valuable. So if you guys agree that what they shared blew your mind or made you rethink your life decisions, please drop it in the comments so that they also feel good about themselves. Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you guys more on Money Matters, where we can share more experiences in terms of finances, and we will be back next week on Money Matters as well. If you liked what we shared, a very quick one, you can actually go to our Facebook page and Instagram and just drop a review about what you learned from today's session and all of that. And that's it.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madra.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Take care. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Do share this episode with your friends and family. And if you like this episode, leave us a review on our Facebook page, facebook.com/simplyempowering. Money Matters is where we aim to provide valuable content to inspire and empower you on your money matters. Thank you once again for watching this episode, and see you guys at the next one.